Greetings everyone, this is Melek Shalama. It's the 17th of March 2026. It's approximately 2:46 p.m. and it's Eastern time, by the way. And right now I'm in a live trade here on ES. I took a sell here after this touch at the 4-hour Arctic wall, which is a Wyckoff level I have as a support level of a 4-hour distribution support level. So we had some sellers here. We had a little bit of, I would say, some absorption, sellers being absorbed. Then we have some accumulation happening here. So I think this trade might get clipped. The stop is at roughly 67, 77.50. So this is the kind of activity where the selling isn't following through. We have this liquidity on the bid, and it's holding up price, right? But we have a bigger distribution structure here, right? So let's go back to the RTH open. So you can see there's a. Let me take over this market profile for a second so we could see. All right, so this is my messy chart. Let me try taking off some of this stuff here again. All right, take this off, take that off. All right, so from the RTH open, this is Camarilla R3 at 67.90, and we have this uptrust into, let's say, 68.0825, and then we have sellers taking control, bringing us back down to around. This is London VWAP here, that white line, taking us back down to 67.79. We have a little pushback up, that's VPOC. We retest VPOC here, this light blue line. Let me use the arrows, right? So that's London VWAP. VPOC retest with liquidity on the offer, capping price. We have buying exhaustion. Sellers take control again, back down to London VWAP, white line right there. Liquidity on the bid is absorbing. We get a little pushback from the buyers, retrace. They don't quite get to VWAP. They get capped by this liquidity on the offer. We push back down. We break below RTH VWAP, that yellow line. Liquidity is absorbing on the bid, right? All the way down here, we got down to, let's see, we got down to roughly 67, 66.50, right? So right, so still I haven't gotten stopped out yet, but it's still looking like we're going to retrace into this level here. This is VPOC right there again, so we might retest VPOC and clip me out. But anyway, so we had this retest, we broke down RTH VWAP, we retested London VWAP. We have this big liquidity on the offer, capping price again, pushing price back down, creating a new low here around 67, 65-ish. And then we have this retracement here back to VWAP, right? So it's a distributive structure, but there is some accumulation happening around these areas here, around here. You see the sellers are getting exhausted. VPOC is migrating down and we're getting buyers pushing off of it, right? But we have sellers here at VWAP. So who's in control here is VWAP sellers, right? So the direction is basically down because VWAP is getting broken, retested, sellers are accelerating off of VWAP, and here again, right? But we have this bid right now that we have to get through at this higher time frame distribution level of 67.71.50, and with a 3-point stop, it's possible that I get stopped out, even though I might be correct in the analysis. But I also have a micro trade here where I take a tester. This is something I'm implementing now. So the sell trade was at 67.83, right? So 1 micro broke down VWAP, right? So you see we retested the VWAP right there. As soon as we start selling, I'm in right there. So right now that trade is at break even. I'm expecting it maybe to come back to 67.80 around this heavy liquidity around here. And I just got stopped out here on the one contract. No, I haven't gotten stopped out yet. So let's see. Most likely I will. This is RTH VWAP, ETH VWAP here again. So let's see if sellers step in here or not. Right, so I got clipped here on the ES trade, and the micro trade is still viable here. So let's see what kind of retracement we're getting out of this accumulation structure right here. Right, so we're accumulating off of, no, that's not correct. Yeah, ETH VWAP is right here. We're retesting that. So, and this is also VPOC 67.78. So let's see if sellers are coming back in here. I could actually jump back in this trade, keep a tight stop. Liquidity is pulling, so maybe buyers getting a avenue to push through to the upside above VPOC. So let's see. We have a bid here supporting, so all of this is like indicators of players showing their hand of their intent, right? So if you place a big bid here, you're expecting price to either retest it and you get you enter a trade here on a buy trade, but as we see here, this is pulling, so it's like you're bluffing, right? So it's like if you're playing poker, you just kind of bluff there and then you kind of fold it. Right, so you see the bid is coming in here again, supporting the movement to the upside, but we're not really getting a breakthrough out of this first lower deviation, VWAP deviation. So you see it says -1 right there. Right, so we're right here at VPOC, -1 VWAP. So let's see what's going to happen here. Right, so what do we see here? We see some sellers taking control, pushing back down into ETH VWAP. Do we have sellers breaking below this level? Not really, not yet. And I don't know how loud that my market pulse is from the desktop audio, so I'm gonna just mute that. You can look at the sub chart here. This is the volume pressure imbalance, the green line. That's volume pressure right there. The blue line turning into purple. When it turns to purple, that's when it's spiking. So we had a spike here. That's signaling that there is absorption here, right? Because if it could spike on heavy buying and you don't get a follow through, this offer right here is absorbing the buyers. And you see the volume pressure has now moved down to roughly the mean area. So the volume pressure is balanced, is still to the buy side, but you see we're getting a little dip right now, right? So as I follow that line, you see it's dipping. So what I could do is take a trade here. Stop is above London VWAP. And we're back in. We're going to try and retest this 67.7150. If we get a nice breakdown of that level, hit this liquidity here at 67.70, then the trade could prove itself, right? Sellers could prove themselves. This is going to be -2, or the second lower deviation, VWAP deviation. A lot of buyers like to, or buying algos like to step in around this area here. So let's see if the sellers are actually taking control. Right, so we almost recouped the loss here. It was a 150 loss. We're at -25 right now with a trade moving, let's see, 67.7725 to 67.7450. Right, little consolidation, no real buyers coming in. Right, so you got to look at the order flow. One buyer stepped in here. None of them are hitting the best ask, which is that red line. The best bid is that green line. Sellers take control on the and start hitting the best bid. Buyers step in a little bit again. Do we have sellers hitting the best bid? That's what we're looking for right now. We have liquidity on the offer trying to cap price. So that's sellers trying to manipulate the buyers, and that's not good when they pull, right? But maybe when they pull, they actually hit some market orders and push it down. So buyers retaliating. All right, buyers coming in with volume. We see in the bid lighten up here again. So this is the decisive area right here. So buyers are trying to defend this higher time frame support level. We see the sellers going to work as well. They're actually defending ETH VWAP, the VPOC, and this -1 lower deviation, first lower deviation. Right, you see the buyers are stepping in, putting a bid there, but they're pulling. Right, so what I want to see is some sellers take control right here. If these guys pull their bid, that means that they're bluffing. So sellers should hit some market orders and push us lower. And we have a little battle right here, right? So we actually broke below this bid level that they pulled, but buyers hit the market order as well. So right now we're consolidating right here. Who's in control? Sellers. Still sellers. We have some buying volume. Sellers could take control at any moment to break us below the 67.74.25 level. And 67.74 level. So if we get below that level, we're breaking this little consolidation cleanly. And you see the buyers are stepping in. So the battle is still on right here. And if you look at the YM it has buying volume. The Russell has buying volume. Everything else has selling volume though. Gold is selling, NQ is selling, not as much though. The 10-year is selling heavy. But when you see, this is also could be counterintuitive, right? Because if you see a lot of selling volume, right, and you don't see the sellers actually moving price, that means that the opposite is happening, that buyers are actually absorbing the heavy selling volume. And then another thing with reading the order flow is that the longer this goes on, right, this consolidation, it's showing buying dominance, right? Because the sellers took it below and haven't taken it below this level since, right? And as I'm saying that now, they're attempting to break this level again. Right, so let me just, oh, not that. So let's say as of right now, we're looking at this. We want to see a breakdown or a breakout. Well, I don't want to see a breakout. I want to see sellers break below this level, start attacking this liquidity and this liquidity. So you see the last time buyers made a move, We have buying exhaustion again. Nobody hit the best offer just to push us out of this this little range. We have sellers here attacking this level again, right? So sellers are absorbing the buyers here. We had a bid, buyers tried to step in, sellers hit the market orders, push through that bid. They have no bid as an obstacle right now, so they should get aggressive and sell through this until we get to this liquidity area here. But again, selling exhaustion. So this little range here is a little battle area. And I would say buyers are actually winning because they're closer to the liquidity levels they're looking for, right? So back up to break even on this trade. So now I gotta make the decision. Do I want to wait for sellers to come back in, reinforce their dominance at ETH, VWAP, VPOC, risk getting stopped out? Or do I just stop the trade here in profit and wait for it to show more of a clean setup? All right, so you see sellers coming back in with dominance again at that ETH VWAP. Buyers tried, they pushed their they showed their hand, came in with volume. We have the volume pressure spiking here, hitting the threshold. We have the buying exhaustion. We have the volume pressure imbalance still in buy mode, right, but falling back down to the mean. So we want to see now this green turn into red as we start breaking down into selling pressure, right? Just like it did here. And then it stalled and came back up into green. So buyers took control here again. And all of this corresponds to, this is the ES VPI, volume pressure imbalance. So you could look at the percentage of the buyers. It's 25% buyers in dominance. Actually in the ES, I mean the micro, right? Let's go over to that. We're actually seeing a lot of selling dominance, 94%. So I guess it's like smaller traders are selling heavier than the bigger traders, which is not really too good for my trade because we want to see big players getting active on the side of my trade, right? This micros is basically smaller players, you know, selling right now. So maybe it could be a trap. All right, so I'm gonna leave it on like a 2-minute slice right here, cause like the more you open it is the more like the order flow kind of aggregates differently, right? Because if I open this up here, right, you can see the order flow kind of changes in appearance, right? Or it's just the perception of it, right? So when you get to like let's see, no, that's not it. Let's see, 15. Right, so 15 minutes up here, when you set 15 minutes, is basically like a 2-minute slice you're gonna see. And now I could see where sellers, like this volume dot right here, is not as compressed as if I open it up, right? I would see the volume, right? But then there's a lot of details to start reading. So it's basically better to kind of read the details when you're executing the trade, like when you're getting into the trade, but you want to see more aggregation as, so you won't get jittery to stop out, right, or stop out prematurely. You want to see like more or less aggregation, let's say it like that, so you can see clearly that, okay, this is dominance, this is dominance, this is buying exhaustion, right? Let me use the arrows again. You can see the buying exhaustion without the nuances and the little details, right? You can see that's buying exhaustion, right? You can see the buying exhaustion, buying exhaustion, buying exhaustion, right? So now we have the breakdown of this level, right? So that's the ice wall breakdown. I call it the Arctic wall, 67, 71, 50. We have a retest. We see some buying dominance here, buying exhaustion right there. We see the offer coming in, absorbing the buyers. We're looking for sellers down at this range right here, this level, 67, 71. We're seeing some selling absorption. We're looking for sellers to dominate, take us into this bid, 67, 70. And we're seeing exhaustion, right? You just saw that right there. No sellers at this level. No buyers either at this level, right? So now the buyers are trying their hand. And usually in the order flow you get when you have these levels, like I said here, you get the breakdown, retest, breakdown, retest. Do they actually take it, or are the big buyers actually absorbing here, or the sellers are actually in control, right? So this retracement here, coming back up to this offer, is this offer gonna hold here? Right, so they're putting more on the offer. Buyers are still hitting buy. And that could spoil the whole trade right there. We could get a squeeze all the way back up. What I want to see is what I'm seeing right now, some buying exhaustion, but still buyers are hitting the best ask, the best offer, right? So you see it's still going. And this is how the 2-minute slice is is better to look at. I don't want to look at too much nuances. I want to see buying exhaustion right here, this small buy dot. After this big buy effort, they didn't fill any of this gap here, right? They started to exhaust. Small sellers, they made their attempt right here, and that failed. So sellers are still in control. So just gotta wait. Let's come back down, break this ice wall here again, the Arctic wall. But maybe buyers are gonna take it up, stop me out anyway. So let's see how it goes. And my actual target for this trade is 67.57. Actually, I want to take that to right here, around 67, 60, 50. Right, so you see buyers still squeezing. Maybe they're gonna retest ETH VWAP, and that'll stop me out. So right now, basically, buyers are defending this Arctic wall here at 67, 71, 50. VPOC is migrating down as sellers are breaking this level here where buyers came in, but buyers are responding immediately, right? So big buying again. So two big buyers, right? If sellers break below this VPOC level here, they're going to establish dominance again, because these are two big efforts here by the buyers at a VPOC high volume level. So once the algos or the whatever the algos, let's call it the algos, who's ever in charge of these trades, right? Or who's trying to establish dominance. VPOC migration is very important because it shows that high volume moved from this level 67.78 to 67.75. So it's a good place for these algos to reestablish dominance, right? And for the buyers to try to fight for the position. And we're looking at the volume pressure imbalance. It's to the buy side, but now we're hitting the threshold, right? Where exhaustion from the buyers could take place. So when we go from green to red, we start going into this kind of activity, right? Now, if we were still around this area here, right, and we were up here, it wouldn't mean as much. But since we start hitting this threshold here of volume pressure imbalance, hitting an exhaustive level, right now it could maintain this level for a little while. As you see, it's holding up, but this is where sellers will try to get at them basically, because it's like you're using a lot of ammo to get to this level, right? Let's kind of analyze it like that. Like if you're really firing a lot of shots, right, and your enemy is just kind of waiting and realizing that, okay, you might be running out of ammo soon, right, because you are advancing, right, but they are using a lot of ammo to get to this level. So will they have enough to actually get to this level? Right, you see we're still in the threshold, crossing above. We saw two buyers come in here, right, won this little battle. You see there's no sellers right here after this seller came in. No sellers following through. So as of now, right here, buyers are taking control at VPOC. Wow, this video is already 27 minutes, but I guess it's good order flow reading right now, so I'll just let it play out. Right, you see the bid coming in there, supporting the buyers. No sellers in sight. And with 45 minutes to go, I think I could just close this trade, because I think we're actually gonna squeeze up to at least this level here, so no need for me to wait. We have actually covered a lot of ground, right? Buyers have recovered a lot of ground here, and the structure is actually accumulative, right, with a little kind of spring down to this level at 67.70, and now we're getting this push up here. Now let me look at this micro trade. Let's see if I want to just give it all back or not. Okay, this is good. See the buy sweeps here. If buyers don't follow through, let me go back to the ES. Let's see what's that. Oh, I don't have on the buying sweeps over here. Let me put this back on. All right, so we back up to London VWAP. See, VPOC just moved up again. And we have buyers responding. Sellers tried to take control, buyers responding a little bit. Looking like it might be buying exhaustion. Let's open this up a little bit more. Because we're looking for execution now, so we're going to look at some detail. What we see here, sellers getting absorbed, sellers getting absorbed, sellers getting absorbed. So not really seeing any signs of another trade right here, another sell trade. All right, now we see something. We see a breakdown of structure. So this is like a mini distribution. We have a preliminary supply or buying climax. Let's call this the buying climax. We have a little pullback. This is the automatic reaction here. This is the level you want to break down. We have the uptrust level. And the breakdown level or the automatic reaction is now just above ETH VWAP. So now we want to see sellers take control, get us below this automatic reaction level, below ETH VWAP, and then we could think about taking another sell trade. But still, buyers taking control here, pushing us up. So let's see here. I think I'm gonna exit this micro trade as well. And there's only 40 minutes to go. So with buyers doing this kind of, I mean, it's like the market is rebalancing here at the close, right? So to take a trade now without no real direction is kind of a little more risky, right? We already capped our loss for today, which was only this, right? So that's good risk management right there. And it's actually lower than that because you gotta minus this out of it, right? So yeah, I think that'll be it for today, right? Could have actually, I guess, when it came down to here, took some profit or probably closed the trade, but actually no. I mean, like, this was the micro trade where we got into profit quite, I think, well, what was my entry? It was 67.83, I believe, right? Or it was higher than that. It was at VWAP, somewhere around here. I think it was 67.83.75, somewhere around here, right? When we retested and broke down from VWAP. And I guess running into this with heavy volume, right? We have the volume pressure spiking here to the sell side, right? You see that green, that's signifying that sellers could possibly get exhausted, but we didn't have the volume pressure imbalance exhausted. That was just in the sell position as the red, right? So it basically could have retested these liquidity levels here and kept on going, but we do have buyers absorbing here at this 4-hour Arctic level. So let's see, what are we seeing here, right? So again, the structure is ETH VWAP, right? So we see sellers taking control here. And if I take another trade here with this breakdown, let's say sellers want to keep going to like around where liquidity 60, 70. Yeah, that's not really. I mean, there's some liquidity here at 60, 67, 60. But could we get there in like 40 minutes? It's possible, but to me, this is looking attractive for buyers right now, right? That liquidity up here at Camarillo R3, that's standing out right now. So we could squeeze. So it's like two things could happen, right? Buyers have a target where they could take profit back up here, and they could actually squeeze a lot of these sellers out of the market, right? If we do make that move. But I am seeing sellers taking control here, breaking below ETH VWAP. All right, so I'm gonna take a trade here. I want to see immediate selling. We have big sellers here. I don't want to see this too much. Anything moving above ETH VWAP again, I want to get out of this trade. Like this is my basically my stop level here. My manual stop is gonna be anything like 67, 78, 50. Right, so I want to see this and some momentum to the downside. No stalling like this. I don't want to see that. Because this is showing selling exhaustion right now. I want to see sellers here again. Right, so we retested. I want to see sellers. We have an iceberg seller here. Nothing really to talk about. Only 15. Only 14 over here. My VPI is still not, hasn't moved into the selling range. It's still on buy with the green. Right, the green and the blue right there. So no momentum yet. So let's go back down. Let's kind of zoom out to the 2-minute slices. Right. So let's see what price action looks like. Let's see what the order flow looks like. We basically seeing some buying clusters right here, and no real sellers at the bottom hitting the best bid. So that's not good. See, when this happens, I want to see momentum, right? If sellers show dominance, I want to see momentum breaks, not exhaustion on the bid. See, that bid is coming in and pulling, right? It actually stepped down lower, so we have some sellers possibly trying to establish dominance here at 67, 76, 25. So let's see. They're trying to keep it below ETH VWAP. So are we gonna get some quick momentum? And I might even stay in this trade long. Like I might just come out at 67, 71, even if it flushes down, because it's looking like buyers are really looking around this area here. Right, we're seeing buyers stepping in, selling exhaustion. Right, no momentum to the downside. It's looking like sellers are getting absorbed. Right, so that's what I want to see. But then we have sell sweeps, which usually has a counteraction move. When you sweep the book, 110 contracts swept the book, you usually get like a rotation back up, right? If it keeps going, that means the sellers are actually really dominant. This VPOC just migrated down now, so VPOC is now at 67, 75, 75-ish. Again, buyers could try and reestablish themselves here as volume has moved down. The algos are going to know that, and they're going to try and step in here. But for me, this is really decisive. Like, this is where they're trying to keep price below as of now, right? Right, so you see the buyers stepping in. Yeah, I don't like that selling action right there. You see how it gets absorbed, turns into buyers. Yeah, I'm out of this, man. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do here. That's my stop. We got that buy attempt. Anything above that, I'm out. Because again, sellers, no momentum. Sellers, no real momentum. Consolidation after they sell. Sellers, no real momentum. I want to see selling, like break. Break after the retest. Break after the retest. Retest here, break. But I'm not getting that. Now what we're seeing is all markets looking like they're in kind of in sell mode, except for like the 10-year. But why am I not seeing the breakdown? And that could be counterintuitive because it's basically sellers are getting absorbed. You see that again? All right, so there's a lot of trickery going on right here. And I just took that micro in case like the ES contract gets stopped out. I can still allow the micro to kind of have a bigger structure stop, right? So we can hold for these kind of rotations around this kind of high volume area, right? So if we do retest this level here, I can still be in this trade. So we just keeping this stop above structure, right? Sellers are in control. Anything below the structure here, we're trying to break through this liquidity here. And you see it keeps rotating on itself. All right, so got stopped out here again, but tight stop again, so only this. So we got 30 minutes left. Volume pressure is in to the sell side. Looking at what buyers are going to do just above VPOC here. And this ETH VWAP. All right, we're gonna try it again. So this was basically a test of the VWAP level, ETH VWAP. They got sellers, right? I mean, they got rejected, basically buying exhaustion. We had sellers moving down. Now we want to see, do they come back and retest VWAP, break above this level? We have iceberg seller, just 15, nothing special again. And it just basically keeps rotating on me, so I should probably just I don't want to have blind faith that sellers are defending this ETH VWAP, but you keep seeing what's happening up here, right? Since we broke down, we haven't retested that level, we just retested it. So were sellers waiting on this retest? Are they gonna start to have some momentum to the downside now? Let's see. I don't really want to sell VPOC, but I'm looking at the retest here and possibly a better entry right here. But it's not really a good idea to sell at VPOC, so I'd probably want to sell around my original entry here at 67.73. All right, so let's go back over here, see if we want to add another micro. We got some momentum to the downside. This one here, we could just keep this, keep that as a tighter risk. And these targets might be too far away, but on the micro side, I'm letting that kind of possibly play out. But still, I'm gonna, if I'm closing a trade, I'll probably just close everything. Like if I'm closing this trade here, I'll probably go over there and just close everything. And it keeps doing that. See, it keeps doing that here again. Like, you know, that's a sell entry. Rotating on me, rotating on me. Now if we get this retest here at VPOC, right, buyer stall right there, and we get selling momentum, that'll be good. If not, probably just like a kind of trap at the close. Like the close of the session kind of just trap some sellers who trying to sell at the end and just have a squeeze at the end of the session. We see now it's tempting me to close a decent setup, you know what I'm saying? Because we could actually flush below this level here because we already established a lot of buy stops, right? I mean, a lot of sell stops. So all the buyers here who entered their buy position, they still haven't gotten anywhere, right? So all their stops are still here. So we have some stops that came out, right? 88, 96, 106, 168, 224, 33. Now there's still a lot of stops in the markets here, right? All these guys, this liquidity, this could be stops. So one clean flush through that, and probably, you know what? This is what I'm expecting for you. Like one clean flush. Let's see, this trade is 67.74. Yeah, that target is 2. Right, so maybe a test of this liquidity here on a quick flush, 67.60. So let's see if the close is kind of a little flush out of the buyers. It's not really looking like it though. See, all of this bid right here is basically holding up price. We have the YM buying. Let's go over to the YM and see what's going on, right? So the YM is kind of the same structure, but at the base, and getting some buying volume coming in. So RTY is getting some early sellers, right? So you see RTY now has created somewhat of the same structure, but they're breaking down the structure. This is what I want ES to do, right? So we broke and we retest, but a lot of selling pressure coming in. And what is ES doing? ES is responding in kind as well, but not really having no momentum. And it's basically the flush I'm waiting for. You know, just like the break of the dam, I just want to get through all of these stops right here and see if we get a nice little run down to like 67.60. Down to this liquidity level here. And as you can see, they're trying to bid it up, putting that bid right there, supporting it, supporting this little structure right here at 67.73. And this was a kind of special level right here. This 67.73 is a lot of selling exhaustion happen at this level. If you look back over here, a lot of selling exhaustion. Had a poke below, retested, retest. Sellers broke, came back up to it. Selling exhaustion again. So I don't know, I'm just in the trade, so no, that's what I don't want to see. Let me cut this out. All right, so that was the trade right there for today, right? Keep on rotating on me. I'm good on this kind of price action. All right, y'all. So it's Melek Shalama. You kind of see my thought process here, how I read order flow and the higher time frame support level that I'm looking for the breakdown on. But we keep getting this accumulation structure now and selling absorption. So the probability is getting really low for it to actually flush. All right, y'all. You all trade safe and stay blessed.